Hey everybody, thank you for joining me here on this YouTube video about the different types of owners. And this is part 2 of a 4-part series. Hopefully you caught my earlier video on innocent owners, the type of innocent owners. And if that's you, definitely listen to that video. You may not even know it's you, so listen to the video, see if you identify with that. And I have some tips and suggestions on how you can actually grow and thrive into being a more well-rounded owner from starting off as an innocent owner. Today, I want to talk about the caregiver owner. I've been a physical therapist and practice coach from 2003 to now, so almost 20 years. So well over 16 years of working with owners all around the country, practice PTs just like yourself, who strive to become more than what they were when they started their profession. So many of us start as staff physical therapists, and then what happens is we become clinical directors, and fortunately at some point in time we decide, hey, we can do this better. I care more about my patients than what I see going on here. I am going to make a difference by opening my own clinic, which typically costs about $35,000 to $100,000, and I'm going to be all about the patient. Well, let me tell you, that assumption is that because you're all about the patient and you care more and you feel more, you're presuming that the other 30,000 physical therapists in private practice are all about the money and they're all about the greed and they're all about the shake and bake and all about the product and the production and the numbers and the stats That's not true. That's just not true. The overwhelming majority of physical therapists in private practice are seeking to do what's best for their community, their referral sources, their patients, and their staff, as well as their family. I feel like there's 5 major components there. Them and their family, themselves too. You're just as important as everybody else. So you can't be a martyr. And that is what I find with my caregiver owners. They're usually in business about 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. Then my phone rings. They saw us on the web, www.megbusiness.com. They read through some of what we do, and they're like, oh, you do billing, you do credentialing, you do practice coaching. And they call me up, and they start talking about how great their staff is, how great their clinic is, how much they do for the patients. And I hear about all of this outflow, all of this stuff, but I don't hear anything about them. So then I say to them, hey, you know what? What I really want to hear is, what is your ideal scene? And they go into what they're doing for the patients and what's going on in the clinic. And so I say, no. As I'm talking to you right now in this video, I'm going to ask you, what is your ideal scene? How much money should you be making for the time, energy, and effort you put in? How much time should you be spending in that clinic? How much time should you be spending at home? When was the last time you took a vacation? How many vacations do you want to take? What kind of flexibility do you have on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis? What kind of stability do you have? Do you have some financial stability? Do you have time stability? Do you have some predictability of what's going on? What kind of flexibility do you have? All of these things are extremely important things. And the caregiver owner has no consideration about those things. They put themselves last. They're a martyr. It's all about the patients. I've literally met physical therapists in practice 5 years who are paying themselves $45,000, $55,000, sometimes $65,000. And I'm like, new grads make that. Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And they're just giving above and beyond to their staff, like way above and beyond. Their staff is out exchange. The patients are getting 1-hour treatments, hour and 10 minutes, one-on-one with the therapist from start to finish. You know, I was at a PPS conference and I heard the people lecturing, which I won't tell you their names, but they're really highly trained professional consultants in the field of physical therapy. And she said to somebody in the crowd who was being that caregiver owner, who was priding herself on, well, we're different than everybody else, she says. We only see patients 1 an hour, and we have no aides or techs, and we see them from start to finish with their PT. And she says, well, that's interesting. Why do you do that? Because it's the best patient care, gives the best experience. She goes, no. You can't say that. That's not true. We have Practice of the Year winners who typically win Practice of the Year, who are most often treating 2 patients an hour and having one-on-one patient care experiences. Patients are thriving, outcomes are through the roof, patient staff satisfaction is through the roof. Do you have that? Are you experiencing that in your clinic? Let me tell you what my experience is, she says. My experience is that it's your fixed idea that you put in your head, that you've stapled to the wall, is your stable datum of how you measure what quality physical therapy is. It's one-on-one with a patient from start to finish with one clinician at a time. She goes, that's not true. That's not what the patients will tell you. That's not what the data will share with you. That's your idea. You hooked onto that. And you're using that as leverage to justify your martyred situation in your practice. You're not growing. You're not nearly as viable as other people who are running a successful, efficient, productive, and high quality practice. I believe in doing this for as long as I've been doing it. Every single policy, every single procedure, every single structured thing that you put in this practice that develops, supports, and enhances your company culture must be based on real truth and real data of what is in the best interest of the patient, the staff, the community, the referral sources, and you and your family. If you're going to put patient way up here and everybody else is down at the bottom, good luck with that. Because everybody else who's winning practice of the year or in the top 10%, which is what our podcast is, Secrets of the Top 10%, they know that if they don't hold themselves as important and valuable, and they validate their time, energy, and effort they're putting into it, and those around them, and they don't share in that upper echelon of experience, and they're just putting the patient there, they will be working themselves out of a job. They will be working right out of business. They will not be in practice very long. This is a huge mistake for you to think that it's all about the patient and everything else is secondary, because it's not. It is not. The patients have to be winning, my staff has to be winning, my referral sources have to be winning, and so do my people in my community and my family and myself. So here's how you're going to do it. Here's what to do. Here's my first suggestion if you are that caregiver owner. Let's re-look and let's re-examine your schedule. Let's see what schedule is going to give you the greatest level of efficiency, the greatest level of productivity. Now, efficiency is number of visits per week or per day or per month. It's volume, okay? Productivity is how much care have I given? Efficiency is how efficient am I in delivering that care. I like to use value points, 1.5 value points for an eval, 1.25 for a re-eval, and 1 for a revisit. Now I have an even playing field between PTs and PTAs. I don't measure visits. I always measure value points. So that's a tip for professional success for you here. That's the first one I wanted to drop on you. Number 2 is production. Production is how much care am I going to give? Now, I would like to see every single patient get at least 3.75 billable units of service, okay? Actual compensationable units of service. I'm always on record saying physical therapists do not bill. They have nothing to do with billing. They treat a patient, they document on a note what they did, and then they identify the units that represent what they said in their note. The units match the note. That's it. You have nothing to do with the money. You shouldn't care less about that. You treat the patient, you document what you did, and you make sure that you got the units to support what you did. But I can see by the number of units, how much care did you give? How much delivery did you give to that patient? Let me tell you, your patients see it too. Mr. Johnson, who comes into your clinic and sees Sally Joe, who sees him for 4 units of care, keeps him 55, 65 minutes, and then he comes back on Wednesday, she's out, and he has to see John, and John gives him 2.5 units of care. He's paying that same $40 copay. He's quickly going to realize, I want to be with Sally Joe. She gave me more care. She figured out how to be more productive, producing more results with me because she really invested more in my care, right? So I'm saying, if you don't know how to run a 45 minute schedule, 30 minute schedule, or a 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, every half hour schedule, everybody stays 55 to 65 minutes. Let me tell you, that's on you. That's on you. You obviously don't know the rules and regs. Do not tell me that you have to see patients one-on-one for an hour and there's no way another patient can come in. That is garbage. That is just your ignorance in knowing the proper Medicare rules and commercial carrier rules and all of the proper minutes and times. You can go back and forth and provide one-on-one care, add it up. People can use unattended modalities. You can figure it out. There's 4 major principles that are going to allow you to do that. Point of service documentation, number 1. Proper use of aids and texts, number 2. Bringing patients back 5 minutes early or keeping them 5 minutes late or both. And unattended modalities. Modalities that don't require your direct one-on-one attendance. You use and apply those 4 principles within an every half-hour schedule, as the top 10% of best practices in this country are doing. You too will be getting great results, high quality, very efficient, and very productive with each and every patient. Look at your outcomes and do a Net Promoter Score, because I track that with owners all across the country. If that Net Promoter Score drops and those outcomes drop, then something's wrong. We're not doing something right. But I'm telling you, from my heart of hearts, I have had way too much success with thousands of owners across this country understanding how to appropriately use their time with one-on-one patient care and still have that patient feeling like, man, I have been well cared for and I'm getting tremendous results, because it's all about the staff satisfaction, the patient satisfaction, and is that practice flourishing and prospering. If that practice isn't bringing in net revenue, there's no more money to put back into the business to make it a better business year 2, year 3, year 4, year 34. I want to live a better 54-year-old. I'm 54. I want to live a better 54-year-old year today for the next 12 months than I did last year, 53. That is for sure. And I hope you want the same. So that's it for this week's video. I gave you a few principles, gave you some things to think about. If you don't have the right information, if you want to hear it, if you want to have a practice assessment, reach out to me. Free 1-hour assessment with me. We'll talk about the state of the union of your practice. I'll give you some free principles. I'm not a pressure person. I'm not going to push you to buy or do anything. I'm simply going to want to make a friend, and I'm going to want to share some information that might help you live a better life. If there's anything else I can offer you after that, that's up to you. Reach out to me. I will make sure it happens. So that's it. Check out our website, www.megbusinessmanagement.com or megbusiness.com, actually, megbusiness.com, or email jenn@megbusiness.com. Take care, everybody. Start each and every morning expecting to do well. That's what I do. I hope the best for you.